Yeah, I can't find it. So anyhow, I wanted to tell you about these processors. LGA 775 obsolete now. Um, FM3, FM3 Plus, FM2, 2 Plus. Um, you still use them. The quad core Athlon, X4s, quad cores. They're still pretty good. The boards you can still get. Um, Obviously, the Socket 478. This processor, no, you can't anymore. You can't get this one. It's hard to find. And the 386DX33 that I was looking for, I think somebody stole. But it was my original processor from my original computer that I bought in Bellevue, Washington in 1991 and 92. I got it at a store on Northrop Way, I believe. And came with 4 meg of RAM, 386DX33. And then I upgraded the RAM from 4 meg to 8 meg of RAM. And it came with a 240 meg hard drive. The total cost was like, I can't believe it, I think it was like $900 and some dollars, which is about $500 less than what retail was at the time. But I was just getting started at Microsoft, and it was a Buffalo computer. That was the cool thing. It was called Buffalo. The computer stayed with me forever until I went to Winnemucca, and then the computer was used to capture webcam footage of Winnemucca Mountain in the courthouse. That was sort of cool, and then I lost the case, but I think I left it there with Rich at the on-ramp. But we had since replaced the motherboard, but I kept the processor, and that processor's been with me for a long time, but can't find it. But anyhow, that's all you can know about processors. Is that's one of the main components in the computers, the CPU, the central processing unit. The ones in the old days that was just the CPU and then the floating point processor, which is the floating point unit, that was separate. That was the 386SX. Then you had a coprocessor. That was back in the day. Prior to that was the 8086, and that was in the mid-80s. But what I'm trying to get across is, you can see the size is this big, this big, this big, and now the AM4s, which is the AMD models, and then the Socket 1151, which is about the same as this. It's just that there's more transistors on it. A little more expensive. These were about $80 to $120 at the time, but the new ones cost quite a bit more, like the i3, i5, i7. So other than that, though, that's all there is about CPUs. I know I'm going to have to cut, edit, chop this video up a little bit. I've been jumping around. But for the most part, if I had to start at the beginning, I started with the Socket 386DX33, which was about like this, a little bit larger than the 486. And then I went to an LGA 775. And then, of course, I switched over to the AMD a little bit. But then I also did the LGA 775. But then I went to the i3, i5, i7, as well as the FM2. I also did the FX series on the AMD side. There was an AM series, FM series, but that's about it. Not much to know other than that when it comes to CPUs. The price ranges were from $100 to $400. The higher ends were in the $350 range. The lower ends were anywhere from $100 to $150. The motherboards had to match up with the processors, we knew that, and then the RAM actually had to match the motherboard and be compatible with the CPU. That's how that all works out together. So other than that, though, we'll chop this up in post, and we'll go from there. But anyhow, it's nice to see you on a Friday. I want you to know that I'm going to try and put this all together. This is my third video. I'm not sure what editing tools I'm going to use to do this in post, let alone this green screen. If I'm going to leave it just green and then play with the background fill with the green screen stuff, but it should be fun. So stay tuned, and we'll come back at another time. Thank you. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and comments down below. And that's so meerkat-like. Meerkats. I don't know if anybody likes meerkats, but I think they're funny. Okay? Till next time.